He was born in poverty but became the richest man in Asia. He failed exams endlessly but built a business empire that changed global trade. He took China's economy to a new level and became the first businessman to be interviewed by the President of the United States. A billionaire with the appearance of a good-natured alien dancing on stage in flamboyant costumes and starring in action movies. Jack Ma, a man who achieved everything against all odds. Despite thousands of mistakes, endless rejections, and failed interviews, but thanks to incredible determination, a willingness to take risks, openness to people, and belief in his dream. Today we tell the story of Jack Ma, a man who went from being a poor teacher to a billionaire. Jack Ma was born in 1964 in the city of Hangzhou, China. Although back then he wasn't known as Jack just yet. His parents, who were underground performers, named him Ma Yun. He was only 12 and his biggest dream was to learn English. At that time, China was far from the best place to study foreign languages. Today we have dozens of online applications, but back then there were very few materials even in libraries. The thing is, after the Cultural Revolution in China, the authorities restricted the study of foreign languages. The ice only began to break in 1972, after Richard Nixon's legendary visit to Beijing. Tourists began to come to the country, and Jack heard foreign speech on the streets of Hangzhou for the first time. Even at such a young age, Jack was incredibly persistent. Every day, he would get up at 4 in the morning, get on his bicycle, and regardless of rain, snow, or wind, travel a long way to the International Hotel to talk with foreigners. For him, it was a completely new world, and people speaking an unfamiliar language seemed like aliens to him. By the way, later on, Jack Ma himself would be compared to the alien from Steven Spielberg's movie because of his unusual appearance. Jack offered tourists free tours around the city, and in this way, he learned the language. But Ma was not only improving his English, he was also making new friends and acquaintances. It was actually the American tourists to whom he showed Hangzhou who gave him the name Jack, because Ma Yun was difficult for them to pronounce, and he kept in touch with some foreigners even after they left. For example, the Australian Morley family corresponded with him and corrected his mistakes in letters. And in 1985, they invited the 21-year-old Jack to Australia. This trip became another turning point in his life. For the first time, he saw the world outside of China and got to know another culture from the inside. Later, he would say, when you learn another language, you begin to understand another culture. You begin to appreciate and respect it. And when you appreciate and respect another culture, others will begin to appreciate and respect you. Jack Ma watched with amazement at the prosperous life of the small Australian town. The contrast struck him. From that moment on, he began to study other cultures more deeply and to look at the world more broadly. But despite his outstanding success in English, studying was not easy for him. He failed exams time and again, first in elementary school, then in high school, and when applying to university, he scored only 1 point out of a possible 120 in mathematics. By the way, as Ma himself admits, he still has problems with numbers to this day. I'm not good at math, I've never studied management, and I still don't know how to read financial statements. Only on his third attempt did he manage to get into the pedagogical university. It was there that he met his future wife, Kathy Zhang. His classmates made fun of Jack's appearance, but Kathy didn't care about that. Ma Yun is not handsome, but I fell in love with him because he is capable of doing things that handsome men cannot. Kathy became his reliable support and pillar. Later, she even invested money in his first business. After graduating from university, life did not get any easier. Jack couldn't get a job anywhere. He didn't even pass the selection process at KFC. Out of 24 candidates, 23 were accepted and only Ma was rejected. Clearly, the saying "born under a lucky star" did not apply to him. In the end, he got a job as a teacher with a salary of only $12 a month. Not much for a 30-year-old man who had to provide for his family. But then fate took a sharp turn. Jack finally gets his long-awaited chance. He is sent to the United States as a translator for a government delegation. All those years spent learning English were not in vain. It was there that he first heard about the internet. Curious, Jack types the word beer into a search engine and is surprised to find that there are no Chinese brands in the results. At that moment, he realizes it's as if China doesn't exist on the internet, and he immediately gets the idea to fill this gap and conquer the untapped market. That same year, the internet appears in China. Jack returns to his homeland brimming with ideas, but he himself knows nothing about computers and can't program. And at that time, people in China were almost completely unfamiliar with the internet. Later, Jack would describe himself as a blind man riding a blind tiger, referring to his first steps in online commerce. Nevertheless, in 1995, he launches a family business called China Pages, a website directory of Chinese companies. Interestingly, that same year, across the ocean, Elon Musk also created his first startup, which was also a business directory. But the results were completely different. Musk sold Zip2 for $307 million, earning his first fortune, while China Pages developed slowly and was eventually abandoned. The failure of China Pages did not stop Jack Ma. We remember, nothing ever works out for him on the first try, but he never gives up. And how could he give up when he has the wisdom of the ancient East on his side? I use the philosophy of Tai Chi in business. Stay calm, there is always a way out. The main thing is to maintain inner balance, says Ma. He understands that China produces a huge number of goods that are cheaper than their foreign counterparts. All that needs to be done is to open this market to the whole world. With this idea, Ma goes to Silicon Valley in search of investors. But American investors did not see a clearly developed business plan. Jack's motto, "If you plan, you lose. If you don't plan, you win," was not understood by them. However, this did not stop Ma, who was hardened by failures. He returns to China and in 1999 founds the company Alibaba, together with his wife Kathy and 17 partners. They all became the first investors, contributing $70,000 to the business. Jack did not choose such an unusual name for a Chinese company by accident. The name Alibaba is known all over the world and is associated with a good guy who revealed hidden treasures in a cave to people. In the same way, Ma used the internet to open up new opportunities for small and medium-sized businesses around the world. Jack and Kathy invested everything they had into the company, even mortgaging their house. And for the first few years, their own apartment served as Alibaba's office. It was the perfect time. The internet in China was developing rapidly, and along with it, interest in Chinese startups was growing. But Jack Ma's key innovation was that he specifically focused on small and medium-sized businesses, unlike most companies that targeted the major industry players. As Jack himself said, American B2B sites are whales, but 85% of the sea's inhabitants are shrimp. I don't know anyone who makes money off whales, but I've seen many who make money off shrimp. This metaphor was inspired by Ma's favorite film, Forrest Gump. The story of a simple-minded but incredibly determined hero who managed to get rich by catching shrimp after a storm deeply inspired him. And so, the sesame opened. Investment giants, the American bank Goldman Sachs and Japan's SoftBank, invested in Jack Ma's startup. As a result, Alibaba raised a total of about $23 million. But even after that, success did not come instantly. For the first few years, the company remained unprofitable, and only in 2002 did Alibaba make its first profit, just $1. To celebrate this event, Ma handed out party poppers to the employees and threw a party. In 2003, when the American company eBay tried to conquer the Chinese market, Jack Ma and his team launched their own online trading platform, Taobao. While Alibaba was focused on business, Taobao allowed ordinary users to buy and sell goods directly without intermediaries. Ma created a platform that was as convenient as possible for buyers, offering free shipping and a discount system. He paid great attention to reviews. His guiding principle was simple: customers always come first, employees come second, and shareholders third. This is how Taobao easily pushed out its American competitor. Interestingly, during this struggle, Jack Ma officially declared war on eBay. Alibaba employees chose nicknames after legendary kung fu masters and even dressed up in military uniforms for a day. Apparently, Jack inherited his flair for showmanship and creative approach in everything from his artist parents. Just a year later, to ensure secure payments on its platforms, Alibaba Group created its own payment system, Alipay. Its foundation was a simple principle. The seller would receive the buyer's money only after the order was confirmed as received. This significantly increased trust in online shopping, and the number of users of Alibaba's services began to grow rapidly. The next major breakthrough in the company's history happened in 2005. Alibaba secured a major investor, and a seemingly insignificant event that had occurred several years earlier played a key role in this. This traces back to 1997. The head of a major American company arrives in China. Jack Ma, who at that time was still a junior employee at the Ministry of Economy, is assigned to give an important guest a tour of the Great Wall of China. As always, Ma easily finds common ground with his companion, and they become friends. This American was none other than Jerry Yang, the CEO of Yahoo. 8 years later, in 2005, Jack reaches out to his old acquaintance in search of investment. As a result, Yahoo acquires 43% of Alibaba's shares for $1 billion. Just like that. You never know which acquaintance will turn out to be life-changing for you. It is quite interesting to note that many years later, Jerry Yang himself would regret the decision that in 2012 Yahoo sold half of its Alibaba shares back to the Alibaba Group for just $13 apiece. After all, in 2014 Alibaba would finally go public, and their share price would quickly soar to $98 per share. As a result, Yahoo would lose $35 billion on this deal. But luck would smile on Jack Ma once again. It seems that after all his failures at the start of his career, fortune decided never to leave him again. In 2007, Alibaba Group made a splash on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. The company issued 859 million shares at a price of 13.5 Hong Kong dollars each, and in less than a day, their value soared by 190%, reaching $39.5. Before Alibaba, only Google had achieved such success back in 2004. After the IPO in Hong Kong, the company's capitalization exceeded $1.5 billion. 2008, the global financial crisis. However, this did not stop Jack Ma. He launched Taobao Tmall. By that time, the C2C platform Taobao had already gained a reputation as a marketplace for cheap and not always high-quality goods. Tmall, on the other hand, became a B2C platform aimed at more serious sellers and guaranteed product quality. Among the first brands were Nike, Adidas, Procter & Gamble, Echo, and Samsung. Ma invested $30 million in advertising, and within a few years, Tmall captured more than half of the B2C market in China. Together with Taobao, this platform today brings in 2/3 of all revenue for Alibaba Group. In 2009, Jack Ma came up with another brilliant marketing strategy. He decided to time a sale to coincide with China's Singles' Day, making it a kind of answer to Valentine's Day. If on February 14th shopping is aimed at couples, then on Singles' Day, November 11th, Alibaba encourages people not to wait for gifts from others, but to treat themselves. The concept worked. In the very first year, revenue from the sale reached $7.8 million. Over the years, November 11th gradually turned into the largest shopping event in the world, which now stands as a major competitor to America's Black Friday. Okay? In 2021, total sales on this day reached $84.5 billion. Jack Ma's love for performance art is evident here as well. 11.11 is accompanied by a grand gala concert where global celebrities such as Benedict Cumberbatch, Taylor Swift, and Pharrell Williams are invited. The show lasts for more than 4 hours, and viewers can purchase products right during the broadcast. In 2017, 400 million people watched the concert. Jack Ma himself has repeatedly appeared on stage in unexpected costumes. For example, at one of Alibaba's events, he performed an Elton John song from The Lion King wearing a leather jacket and a huge mohawk. In 2010, the company launched AliExpress, a small wholesale trading platform aimed at the global market. Unlike Taobao, which serves the domestic Chinese market, AliExpress allows small and medium-sized Chinese manufacturers to sell products directly to customers all over the world. The platform further strengthened China's status as the world's factory. And so, in the year 2014, Alibaba Group finally launched its initial public offering on the New York Stock Exchange, offering shares at $65 each. On the very first day of trading, their price soared by 38%, reaching $98. As a result, the company's market capitalization exceeded $230 billion, making Alibaba's IPO one of the largest in US history. That same year, Jack Ma founded Ant Group, a subsidiary of Alibaba that brought together all of the company's payment services. Its key product is Alipay. Over time, Ant Group spun off into a separate company focused on financial technology and innovation. Ant Group's mission is to make financial services simple and accessible to a wide range of consumers. In addition to secure online payments, users are able to take out loans without traditional collateral. This revolutionary approach would change China's financial system, but later lead to serious consequences for Jack Ma. We will talk about those later. In 2015, Jack Ma demonstrates his charisma and oratory talent. At the Apex Summit, he even outshines Barack Obama, who later interviews Ma, a unique case where a sitting US president interviews a businessman. The topic of their conversation is the fight against climate change. Ma has long been concerned about the environment. Without a healthy environment, it doesn't matter how much money you make or how successful you are. Eventually, disaster will strike. For Jack Ma, these are not just words. Since 2010, Alibaba has allocated 0.3% of its annual revenue to the Alibaba Foundation for Environmental Protection and Disaster Relief. The year is 2018. Alibaba Group is breaking major records, with its market value reaching over $500 billion, making the company one of the most valuable entities in the world. Just 1 year later, on his 55th birthday, Jack Ma officially announces his retirement. He still controls 55% of Ant Group, but now he devotes more time to his family and hobbies, appears in movies, and sings on stage. It would seem he could finally relax. Jack Ma's empire is running flawlessly, but then comes 2020 and everything changes. It's time to remember Ant Group, a revolutionary payment system for China rapidly gaining popularity. In October 2020, everyone is anticipating its IPO with a capitalization of $315 billion. This could have become the largest IPO in history, but Jack Ma makes a fatal mistake. During his speech, he sharply criticizes the Chinese banking system, comparing it to an old men's club. Ma is outraged that the government issues loans at excessively high interest rates, hindering the development of the fintech industry and stifling innovation. This statement marks the beginning of his confrontation. The Chinese authorities respond instantly. The Ant Group IPO is blocked. The Anti-Monopoly Authority introduces strict regulations, increasing control over Ma's business, and launches an investigation against Alibaba Group and Ant Group. After this, Jack Ma disappears for several months, causing a huge scandal in the press and rumors about his arrest. Consequently, as a result of these regulatory actions, in 2023, Ant Group was forced to pay a fine totaling $985 million. The company's market value dropped significantly to $79 billion and total losses reach $877 billion. Jack Ma, in turn, gave up his majority-controlling stake, retaining only a 6% share of Ant Group, Guam. Since 2023, Jack Ma has returned to his roots in teaching, becoming a visiting professor at the prestigious Tokyo College. Despite significant financial losses and Jack Ma stepping down as CEO, Alibaba continues to grow. In recent years, Alibaba, like other tech giants, has been developing artificial intelligence and neural networks, making China a serious competitor to the US in this market. Just recently, in January of this year, the company announced the release of a new model, Qwen 2-720B. According to the developers, this model surpasses many existing counterparts, including ChatGPT. Jack Ma managed to assemble a strong management team capable of carrying on his work. He dreams that Alibaba will last 100 years, which implies a change of leaders. His successor was Daniel Zhang, to whom he entrusted everything he had built over the years. He succeeded where Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Jerry Yang could not. He made himself unnecessary, said Jeffrey Towson, a professor at Peking University, about him. Jack Ma stated that he is still very young and ready to devote himself to many other projects such as teaching, philanthropy, and environmental protection. Let's see what impressive achievements he will accomplish in these areas as well. Perhaps Alibaba is not yet his limit. This cheerful English teacher has proven to the world that with boundless faith in your dream and perseverance, you can achieve absolutely any goal you set.